Good morning. Let's talk about that persistent pins and needles feeling in your feet. That frustrating brain fog that makes you lose your train of thought right in the middle of a sentence. Or that new unnerving feeling of being unsteady, forcing you to reach for the wall when you walk down the hallway. For years, you've likely been told it's just a normal part of getting older. In my medical practice, I can tell you that is a lazy and often dangerous answer. I'm thinking of my patient, Robert, 68 years old. He came to me because he was afraid of falling. He said, "Dr. Anya, my feet feel like they're asleep all the time, and my mind just feels like it's in a fog." His family doctor had told him his symptoms were just age-related and to be expected. I'm Dr. Anya, and what Robert was experiencing wasn't old age. It was a classic, severe vitamin B12 deficiency. Today, I'll explain the 3 silent symptoms of this deficiency, why your daily medications might be the hidden saboteur causing it, and crucially, I will reveal the #1 reason your deficiency is being missed by a standard blood test, and the exact test you must ask your doctor for to get the real answer.
The first thing my patient Robert said to me was, "But Dr. Anya, I eat meat and eggs. My diet is fine." And he was right. For seniors, a B12 deficiency is almost never from a poor diet. It is a problem of poor absorption. You see, to absorb B12 from your food, your body needs 2 critical things. First, strong stomach acid to break it free from the protein in your food, and second, a special escort protein called intrinsic factor to carry it into your bloodstream. As we age, our stomach acid naturally declines. That's part of the story, but it's not the main story. I looked at Robert's medical chart, and I asked him one question that changed everything. "How long have you been on Metformin?" He looked shocked. "Over a decade, Dr. Anya, for my diabetes." Millions of you are taking this exact life-saving drug. But here is the part your doctor may have missed. Metformin is a known drug mugger of B12. The research is very clear. It directly interferes with your body's ability to absorb B12 in the small intestine. But then I saw the other hidden saboteur. Robert was also taking a daily pill for heartburn. Those common antacids like omeprazole, Prilosec, or Nexium work by one mechanism. They shut down the very stomach acid you need to absorb B12 in the first place. My patient, Robert, was on metformin and a daily antacid. He was in a battle he couldn't win. He was dutifully eating his B12, but his body stood no chance of ever absorbing it. So, what happens when your body is starved of B12? The hidden saboteurs like metformin or antacids are blocking your supply. Now the symptoms begin. In my patients, the deficiency rarely shows up as just one thing. It's a combination of 3 silent, creeping problems. First, the nerve issues. Think of vitamin B12 as the protective rubber insulation around an electrical wire. Your nerves are those wires. B12 is essential for maintaining a healthy myelin sheath, which is that protective insulation. When you are deficient, that insulation begins to fray and wear thin. The electrical signals in your body start to misfire. That is the pins and needles in your hands and feet. It's the numbness. It's the burning sensation. And it's exactly why my patient Robert felt so unsteady on his feet. His brain's electrical signals weren't reaching his feet properly. This isn't clumsiness. It's a sign of physical nerve damage that we call neuropathy. Second, the cognitive issues. That exact same frayed wiring happens in your brain. Your brain is a dense network of billions of these wires. When the B12 insulation in your brain's network starts to break down, your processing speed slows down. You get that awful, persistent brain fog. You walk into a room and forget why. You lose your train of thought. You might even feel a new sense of irritability or a change in your personality. I need to be very clear. This is not a senior moment or a normal part of aging. It is a physical symptom of your nerve cells starving. And third, the persistent, crushing fatigue. This is not the normal, I had a long day tiredness. This is a deep, cellular fatigue that no amount of sleep or coffee can fix. B12 is the essential ink your bone marrow uses to create healthy red blood cells. When you run low on this ink, your body can't produce enough. The few cells you do make are large, pale, and ineffective. This condition is called anemia. Your red blood cells are what carry oxygen from your lungs to your entire body. When you don't have enough healthy ones, your body is literally starved of oxygen. That is the fatigue you feel. It's the fatigue of Robert and millions of others who are being told it's just old age, when in fact it's a completely reversible deficiency.
Now, this is the most important part of our video, because many of you watching may be thinking, my doctor already tested me for this. This is what happened to another one of my patients, Susan, 72 years old. She had all the classic symptoms, the fog, the fatigue, the unsteadiness. But she told me, Dr. Anya, they already tested my B12. It was normal. I got her charts from her other doctor, and she was right. Her serum B12 test result was 350. The normal lab range is 200 to 900. Her doctor saw the result, told her she was fine, and sent her home. Here is the clinical truth I need you to hear. The standard serum B12 test is often unreliable, and in my opinion, it is an outdated way to test seniors. That serum test is like counting the delivery trucks on the highway, but it doesn't tell you if any packages are actually being delivered to the houses. It measures the amount of B12 floating in your blood. It does not tell you if that B12 is actually getting inside your cells and doing its job. Susan's cells were starving. So I ordered one more test. The correct test. It's called an MMA test, which stands for methylmalonic acid. This is simple. When your cells are starving for B12, they spit out a specific waste product. That waste product is MMA. Therefore, if your MMA level is high, it is definitive proof that your body is in a B12 deficiency, even if your serum test looks completely normal. Susan's serum B12 was normal. Her MMA level was sky high. We finally had our answer. She wasn't just getting old, she was severely deficient, and we had the proof. Once we found the real problem, both Robert and Susan had the exact same question. So, do I need painful weekly injections? For years, the medical community thought this was the only way to treat a deficiency, especially for people with absorption problems like those on Metformin or with low stomach acid. But the science has changed. As I tell all my patients now, high-dose oral B12, like 1,000 micrograms daily, is just as effective as the injections. Now, you're probably wondering, but Dr. Anya, you just spent 5 minutes telling me my absorption system is broken. And you are right. Your active front door system is broken. Think of it this way. Your body has 2 doors for B12. The main front door, the one that needs stomach acid and intrinsic factor, is locked. But there is a small, passive side door. This door is always open, but it's very inefficient. It only lets in about 1% of the B12 that knocks. So, if you take a massive dose, like 1,000 micrograms, that tiny 1% is more than enough to fill your body's stores. You are simply bypassing the entire broken system. It's simpler, it's cheaper, and clinical trials have proven it is just as effective. So, here is your prescription. Look for a simple 1,000 microgram supplement.
When you get to the aisle, you will see two main names. This is important. You'll see cyanocobalamin and methylcobalamin. Here is my simple advice. Cyanocobalamin, that's CYANO, is the most stable, the most studied, and the most affordable form. It is the form used in the vast majority of clinical trials for decades. It works perfectly. Methylcobalamin is the active form, but for most people, your body is perfectly capable of converting the cyano form. Don't overpay. The classic, most studied form is all you need to fix this problem.
So, what happened to my patients? 3 months after starting high-dose oral B12, Robert's brain fog was gone. He said the pins and needles in his feet had faded, and he no longer felt afraid of falling in his own home. Susan, who was told her test was normal, said she felt like herself for the first time in 5 years. Her energy returned. Her mind felt sharp. Their lives were changed, not by a miracle drug, but by correctly identifying a simple, common deficiency. Now, before you go, one last tip. Vitamin B12 needs a teammate to do its job properly. That teammate is folate, also known as vitamin B9. They work together, especially in building those healthy red blood cells. You don't necessarily need another pill. For most people, simply making sure you are eating folate-rich foods like leafy greens, broccoli, or lentils is enough to ensure that your new B12 supplement can work at its best. That fatigue, that brain fog, that unsteadiness, it may not be your new normal. It may not be just old age. It could be a simple, fixable deficiency. You now have the knowledge to have an intelligent, specific conversation with your doctor. This podcast is a conversation, and now I need to hear from you. Are you currently taking Metformin or a daily antacid? And have you ever been properly tested for B12 with an MMA test? Or were you just given the standard serum test? Share your experience in the comments below. My team and I read as many as we can. If you found this advice valuable, subscribe for our next appointment. I'm Dr. Anya, and I'll see you in the next video.